think there's a myth that usually, well, not usually, but all of the math questions or math related questions would have only one true answer. And I think that's not true. Of course, there are many cases that there is only one answer. But even then, how you get to that one answer, there could be multiple different ways. And in real life, when we actually apply mathematical concepts to things that we are doing on a regular basis, then we actually often have to make a judgment call. So for example, one example would be, and you have $1,500 as a budget to go on a trip. Where would you go? What would you do? Do you go on a camping trip? Would you go on a canoeing trip? Or would you go fly somewhere to be on the beach and scuba dive? So you have to choose, and you have to decide what to do. So I love this aspect of connecting mathematical concepts with making a judgment call. It's you deciding what to do. So I was introduced to this brilliant, amazing problem as part of one of the courses that I'm taking. So I will share that question with you, and I won't really answer, but I will argue it two ways, and you can decide what you would do. And you could create many different questions like that and argue, and I love to argue, and so I think it's gonna be one of those things that there are multiple ways to argue. So basically what it is that I will have 3 athletes, and you have to decide which one to send to the Olympics. Okay, so I will show you the data, and you have to decide which one you would recommend to the committee to send to the Olympics. I'll be back. So your mission is this, if you choose to accept it. You have Matt, Perrin, and Rand, 3 swimming athletes, and they've been competing to be sent to the Olympics. And they have scores. They have participated in 8 different competitions. We call them meets. And they scored certain points. Higher the points, the better that you have been. So 10 is good, 0 not so good. And your job, your mission, if you choose to accept it, as I said, you are going to choose which one of them, only one, you're going to choose which one to recommend to the Olympic selection committee. And you have to write a letter or come up with a speech to back up this one athlete. Just one, as I said. And you have to make sure you can back up your arguments with evidence from using the data on the spreadsheet. And you have to explain why you're recommending to send this person over the other 2. So that's the challenge. And I hope you enjoy. So as you can see, there are 3 athletes, and you are going to choose which one to send to the Olympics. And so just to explain the chart, higher the points, like 10, that's the higher score. So if you see high numbers, that means they have higher scores. And meet, so it's a competition number. Older ones, it's meet number 1. And as you go down in rows, that's more recent. And if anyone is wondering where I took these names, Matt, Perrin, and Rand, I am reading a 14-book series called The Wheel of Time series, and it is absolutely amazing and brilliant. And I'm on book number 4 right now, so I took the names from there. Okay, so and anyway, so what would be your first step? So if you want to and get your own answer, please stop the video so you can get your own answer. And I'll make sure that I share this chart in the description section, so you have the information at hand. You just need to click it. It's a shared Google document. So anyways, so if you want to figure it out on your own, if you want to decide which one on your own, please stop the video, and perhaps you could share your answer in the comment section. But I will show you what I would do, a couple of things that I would consider if I am making a judgment as to whom to send to the Olympics. Okay, the first thing I want to do is I want to know the total points, and I want to know the average. Okay, so I will just do something like this. And first of all, if you want to figure out the total scores for all of the athletes, this is what you could do. So because I'm using spreadsheets, and what you could do is, so you can figure out the total and the average quite easily. So for total, what you would do is you click on the cell, and right over here you type equal sign. I'm going to just close that. Equal sign, and you write SUM, and you start a parenthesis, and you can just highlight all of the cells that you want to add up together. And here you are. And that's it. And just in case you want to see all of it, I will just do, so that's Matt's total score. And for parent, I'm going to do equal sign sum, and you start a parenthesis, and you highlight all of the cells that you want to add up, like so, and you close parenthesis, and as you can see the total numbers or total score for parent right over here. It's 66, and you do that for rand. So you highlight the cell, you type equal sum, you start a parenthesis, and you highlight all of the cells that you want to add up, you close parenthesis, and you hit enter. Okay, so now you can see the total scores for all three athletes. Okay, oops, that's not quite what I meant to do. Well, that's not what I meant to do either. I wanted to highlight this cell. Okay, hang on, I'm having issues. Okay, so maybe something like that. That's better. Okay, so I will also bold that so you can see better. Okay, so now let's say I want to calculate an average for all three athletes. So you could do equal sign, and you can highlight the total. And because there were 8 meets, I could divide this by 8. And that would tell you the average score for Matt. And same here, you do equal sign, you enter the equal sign, and you highlight the cell. That's the total number, a total score. You divide that by 8, and that's for parent. And for Rand, you highlight 61, that's his total score. You divide that by 8, and that will give you an average score for Rand. Okay, so looking at this, who would you send? Good question. If you're just looking at who's got the highest average, who's got the lowest average, that's quite obvious right over here. Perrin has the highest average score. Next is Matt, and after that, that's Rand. Okay, but what if I just want to look at the last 4 meets? Well, then I would just copy this, and then I would just move it over here, and I just want to take a look at these 4 meets, the 4 recent meets, and see how they're doing right over there. I just want to see. Okay, so total and average. Okay, so let's see what would happen here. I'm going to highlight this one as well, like so. So I just want to know how they did in the last 4 meets, not last 8. So let's see whether that would change anything. Okay, so once again, equals sum. And this time I'm only highlighting 4 of the cells. And once again, equals sum. And I'm only highlighting these 4. Once again, equal sign. Whoops, equals, ooh, that's not it, equal sign, sum, insert parenthesis, highlight 4 cells, close parenthesis, and hit enter. Okay, so you get a very different picture. So now Rand has the highest total scores, and followed by Perrin, and they met. Okay, what about the average? Equal sign, highlight the total score, divided by now this time, because I'm only looking at the last 4 meets, just divide that by 4. And this one, highlight this part, divide that by 4. And once again, equal sign, and highlight this, divided by 4. All right, so now you see a very different picture. So this is Matt has an average score of 7.75. Interestingly, it's the same. And same as Perrin, he has an average score of 8.25, but look at Rand. Now, there's a drastic difference right over there. Now, whoops, his average score for the last 4 meets, that is 9.25. So looking at these, what would you do? Who would you send? Good question. So, well, I kind of now want to see a graph to see what I could see visually, just not just numbers. So I can see visually how they progressed over the last 8 meets. Okay, in order for us to do that, I will highlight this chart. Whoops, like so, and go for insert, and I go to chart. Okay, it would do most of the things for you, but we still have to sort of make it easier for us to understand. So I'm going to Olympic selection, and I have to change a couple of other things. So first I go to setup, and I like the fact that it's a line chart. That's good. So, and I am, as you can see, I'm using row 2, meet, Matt, Perrin, Rand as headers. That's good. Use column A as labels. It's column A. Yep. Meet numbers. That's good. So I go to customize, and I titled that. That's good. And I go down, and I go to series, and I want all the data points. You can see that it's sort of highlighted if I actually go like this, and I want to be able to see these sort of data dots. So I'm going to go for points. So this is here. I'm under series and apply to all series, and I go to maybe like 9 point. And now you can see all of the data points, and I like that. And then I go to horizontal axis. It's right over here, horizontal axis under customize. And I want to set my minimum value to be, which one was this? This one's horizontal. So I'll go to horizontal 1. I start at 1 because you start at meet 1 and you end at meet 8. So you can see 1 to 8. But now you can't quite see 8, so I'm going to actually go to 9. Okay, so it just gives you a little bit more easy viewing. And now I go to vertical axis, and I go for this one, minimum value, minimum point is 0, and the maximum point anyone scored is 10. So I'm going to go to 11. You can see it like that. So the last thing I'm going to do is, well, look at the increments. And I like this increment, 0 to 11. That's good. So I don't have to worry about the vertical axis. So that's the y-axis, if you would. But I don't like the x-axis. I would like to be able to see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 properly. So I go to horizontal axis right over here for under grid lines, and I change the measure grid count to 9. So now you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then I can just close that, and I have this to take a look. So what do you see? So what do you see about Matt, Perrin, and Rand? Well, I'm going to first look at Matt. So with Matt, he's starting, well, he's going down here quite a bit. This is sharp drop right over here. And he was going on a downward trajectory, so he wasn't improving from 3 to 6. He got a really good score right over here at in mid 7. But what do you think? To me, I feel that he's a little bit volatile. There's this unpredictability as to how he would do. Do I want to take a risk on Matt? That's up for discussion. What about Perrin? So Perrin, he was the one who had the best average score in the last 8 meets. And of course that means the best total scores in the last 8 meets as well. And in the last 4 meets, he didn't do as well as Rand in the last 4 meets, but he's still doing quite well. So what do you see about him right over here? So as you can see, he doesn't go below 7, and he doesn't go below above 9. So he is in these 2 lines. So that means to me, it appears that Perrin is very stable. He's very predictable. He's consistently good. So that could be a reason to send him. But what about Rand? So he's an interesting one. So he wasn't the best of bunch. When you're looking at the last 8 meets and you're looking at the total score and the average score, he is not doing as well as Matt and Perrin. But if you look at the last 4 meets, he's the best, right? But what does the graph say? So I'm going to just follow Matt first. Matt is going this way. Right? And Perrin, he's going this way. And Rand, he's going this way. So, what I see with Rand, when I'm just looking at the graph, is that he's going on an upward trajectory. Well, so you could potentially argue that if you want to take a risk on Rand, that he is continuously improving, then you might want to send Rand to the Olympics. So you could argue, I would say, definitely 2 different ways, either Perrin or Rand. Maybe there's a reason that I haven't thought of to send Matt, but for me, I would send either Perrin or Rand. Well, I know whom I'm going to send because I'm someone who believes in improvement and progress and take a risk in that regards. But if you're the Olympic selection committee, you might want to play it safe. So there is no right answer for this. It's just my opinion, my judgment call, what I would do if I were the one sending someone, one person, just one person. So you could argue many different ways, perhaps 3 different ways, and this is a very good opportunity to practice arguing. So, would you send Rand or would you send Perrin? Or maybe you would send Matt. And I think many people might think arguing is not a very good thing, but I think arguments, when done properly, and if everyone is being a good sport, and when everyone's keeping their composure, and I think arguing is an amazing tool to practice critical thinking, so you are making sure your reasoning is backed up by evidence, and you're using reason and logic to actually properly construct your arguments. And this is a fantastic tool for you to be able to use in any situations, because in this life we have to navigate through disagreements, conflicts, and you have to be able to use your voice to actually take a stance. So Now, one of the reasons that I was really taken by this activity is because you get to choose. You have to argue whom to send, and you have to back up your arguments with evidence, and you have to take a stance and support one person over the other two. So if you have any reasons that you've come up with, if you could share in the comment section, that would be fantastic. And I shared their other problems in the description section, so click on it, give it a go, and I hope you have very happy arguing. Thank you.